oyana ki the kai do hoya shasha I cho oya the kai chai. As we come into center, ja'ono yata I, clearing through the lower ranges, the koya shashi of the masculine heart space, jara oya the kai chasha oya, allowing balance, allowing fortitude, atakoi chashai, as we move into this preparation of your space, atakoya shasha oya takai. Through the time continuums, tatakoya chasha oya dadatoshoi. Through the amortization of the records, atatayo no kokoro kosha ai chashai, and clearing through the base of the root, atatayo shosho oyana ki, where your energy has not wanted to fully open its expression, jarokoya da kai chashai, out into this physical realm, achanokoya da kai chashai. The fear of taking full responsibility, jara otakai chashai chanokoya, due to experiences, atatata no koshai, in the past, atatayo chasha oya takai shashi, being afflicted in the past, totokoshai, by the past, atatata tokoshai, and through the past, atataya no koshai hu, tahashai choi, feeling this through the base of the heart space. So we're going to start to come into the landscape, tatatokoshai, past presence of your energy here, adakoshai, wherever there are remnants or imprints, atatatokoshai, through the land, atakashai, that your energy field is picking up on as an energetic signature, and yet it's almost as if it's been tethered there, jara otakashai, due to the trauma, but the energy field is not differentiating. Tatatakosho oyadakai chishai chahoya. So let's start through the left side of the field to release wherever your fractures have been pinned down, atatakashai, in the home space, atakashai chohoya, through the home space. Good. Starting to feel this energy return to you through the left side of the womb, jano otakai, as we release these pillars, atakoshai chahoya, but what actually start to look like these stakes, atakashai chohoya. So these pillars of darkness, which are not really pillars at all, atakashai chanakoya takachashai chahoya. So clearing up this misconception, this misunderstanding of what we are perceiving here. So where this sort of feeling of brokenness and desolation calls to us as if it's a memory, clearing through the base of the head, through the skull here, these orange tones, and let's clear the artifacts and re-witness here. Again, feeling a lot of this energy, this power returning to your field in the lower ranges of the womb. We're starting to separate out this distorted consciousness, which we have carried the imprint of for so long that it starts to become familiar and known. Starts to weigh down and bog down the energy field, but then, of course, by default, the human consciousness, the human cellular membranes, atakasha oyanaki, jahoyadaki. So let's open into anywhere we have felt complete hopelessness, just before this sense of succumbing to illness, succumbing to darkness, succumbing to despair. Achano ota ai chashoya. And rather than choosing to give up, takosha ishna I, we open the field to the light. Chano okota kai kasha I choya. Chano koya da kasha I. Surrendering to the light instead of choosing takasha I chahoya tokosha I. To give up or to give over our power. Cha ano koro kosha I chana kai chasha I chana kosha I. Maintaining control of your will. These tones of the recluse, emptying into the field, that we're filling up the field, that we're dampening its vibrancy. Wherever your field was isolated through torture, through despair, wherever you were forced to feel abandonment, to separate your consciousness from your field, which is potentially the purpose of torture, to cause this fracture between the spirit and the body, but really between the spirit and the consciousness that is capable within a body. Okay, so coming back to center here, through the base of the rib cage. So wherever you have felt to stay just above connecting to the land, just above connecting to your space, to your location, to your locale, not wanting to embody fully your own energetic power, and then where you have limited access to your power as a result of this, which is why we go through times where we are really pushed to our limits that cause us to cry out for this connection. So reversing the actual reverse engineering of the soul bond, that this be the dominant, the relevant participation, solar connection to the body, rather than the exception. And breathing in here, this new way of life, making this your limited perspective, this connection, this grounding in, this rootedness, through space, within your time. Good. Feeling that impalement releasing from the left side of the field here. Good. And coming into the now, your current space that you are inhabiting, where your soul lives within the body, and your temple spaces, which essentially are comprised of all the spaces and places that you frequent as a human vessel. So bringing this power, this one source, to all of these locations. Relevant. Let's take a look at this energy of siphoning. cha oya da kasha icha koya. Tara kosha icha na koya da ki cha kosha icha kosha icha. The guy cha icha koya. Dara to kosha icha. Okay, so these tones of siphoning through the right side of the field, through the bone structure, jarakata, the density, the skeletal system. Ja ono korokosha icha chisha oya chisha ki. These hardened trenches, jara anokosha icha. This skeletal network at the kosha, it almost looks like white. Cast in stone here in some way. This network of channels traversing beneath the structures, beneath the stone, within the stone, bringing a lot of, okay, there's historical reference here through the base of the brain, and into the mind. So it feels like where the mind is being siphoned, is it even the wisdom keys being extracted here? Almost feeling like where you hold the wisdom, and yet it's almost as if it's siphoned out and put on the outside of you, so that it appears or it feels or it seems like you are taking it in from the external, and yet it's like it's being siphoned off and then fed back to you, which allows you in some ways to disown your property, disown your potency. Achana koya dakai chisha I chahoya dakai chisha I chakoya. Sort of a white witch tone here, the spell casting. Jana ano koraka chisha I chana koya dakai. So it almost feels like certain locales or locations that we are attracted to that have the remnants of these exterior sort of anarchist tones. Tarakosha I charakaya takasha I charakoya dakachasha I chanaki. Atakachashi. Okay, these energies atatakosha I without these universal energy rules. Ananana kochashi shanakoya dakachashi. Janakoya dakai chashi chahoya dakai. So feeling where this is almost crushing the kasha to the diaphragm. Almost a feeling of a corset, but it's tightened distinctly below the ribs here. So squashing almost all of these organs here. This inability to breathe, this inability to voice one's potential tone, and actually this crushing limitation within the hips, within the lower back. These painful revelations of potential. So clearing through the left side of the throat, through the glands here. This dichotomy. And continuing to feel the energy field cycling through this sense of elation and despair. Elation and despair. So let's stabilize through, let's come into balance to release the extremities of this polarity or the extremities of this polarization. Almost where the field or the body was kept in a state of, well, outside it's sort of homogeneous range, or harmonized range, so that it only knew the extremes, only knew the polarity. So as it transversed what should be sort of this state of surrender, acceptance, opening to one source, there became a gap within the mind. It even feels within the brain of not being able to not only contemplate, but even know it as a possibility, almost like a blank space here. That stability, balance, harmony, completely unknown within the field here. Okay. So increasing the capacitance to the effect that we desire balance. Okay, so coming back to the home space. Now bringing this with you here. So there's a greater understanding of what you are wanting to root in this sense. So we were going to say serenity, but it also feels like serenity has a strange attachment to it. So let's come into stable presence. Let's come into presence, which is witnessing the self. Being aware of one's unlimited potential, but in conjunction with that, also understanding perhaps places of potential, pitfalls, so that those can be attended to rather than veered off away from as a way of avoiding that we look directly at these here. Now, so that sense of repelling from your path or repelling from your own field starts to diminish as we overpower that tendency to flee from what is unknown. That stepping into the unknown is actually where we derive our power from. Because as we step into the unknown, it allows us the possibility of calling up our power. It creates a space where our power can then converge. So stepping into this place of the unknown is almost akin to stepping into the void. Okay, clearing through the front of the sacral, clearing where this solar plexus tone has invaded the sacral, in the sense that, well, this is what I know to be true, and so this is then what we base our almost our desires on, rather than the other way around, allowing our desires to inform what we would like to choose. This is more of a limited perspective then, where, well, this is what I know I'm capable of, so let me only have desires within this range of what is known, what I already know that I am capable of producing, accumulating, acquiring, learning, whatever it might be. So again, sifting this transverse wave, sifting through this transverse wave, and good. So we have this heart pain in the right side now. Good. So calling up this burning sensation. Okay, this is very masculine energy that's coming through here, that is saying, wherever I feel not in control, or wherever I feel vulnerable, or wherever I feel that I don't have the answer. So essentially, wherever I feel like I am moving into unknown territory, there's a sense of being perceived as then almost nothing. I have no power. So let's start to open the space where it's almost like it's a crack in the field. It's perceived as a crack in the field, and it's perceived as it will bring pain and suffering, and almost a sense of siphoning then. So let's bring source light here. And it brings in this beautiful feminine tone through the azure blue, the kashashi, and yet it's a pink, the kosha I chohoya cha anokoya. And clearing any energies of interference here. This sense of overflow or feeling overcome, charakoko, by despair and torture again. Coming back into the home space. The kosha I wherever first rights at the kosha I were not received. Charo otakai I, so this impassioned at the kosha I chokoya. Non-allegiance to one's own field, so fleeing from one's own power, almost in a sense of abstinence, so willfully abdicating in order to defer to something that evokes a sense of fear within us, and yet really it's sort of a slighted energy here. Okay, so looking at these masculine ranges within the home space, within the left side of the field, and bringing light here. Okay, wherever the field feels rejected by its own home energy because there is some sort of ritual or quote-unquote rightful insertion in between you and essentially where you want to dock your energy field, let's say, to land, to be a presence. So clearing first rights to land, to ownership. Good. And feeling this start to clear through the left side of the heart. It's a bit nauseating, a bit sickening, and yet cleansing the sense of affliction, infiltration, infection. It's almost as if the original ownership or the original owner was hidden. Something was overlaid here, which did not allow you to be able to recognize your pure signature. Good. So clearing for your home, for your family, for your workplace, the spaces and places that you frequent, disbanding these introverted tendencies, feeling that through the back of the right side of the neck here. So disbanding these inverted tones, welcoming the heart space, welcoming the energy of the heart. Welcome to heart energy, and this burning fire within the heart space, which appears to be a symbol of protection, but really it's a reminder of this potent power of your heart, this heart-led conversion through your energy field into the energetic realms of the earth. And breathing deeply. clearing deeply through the lower back, and wherever this is afflicting the base of the brain, and yet confusing the human, confusing the energy field to believe that these are physical pains, physical issues, and not able to tend to the underlying emotional disturbance because it's captured through the nervous system is some sort of vibratory effect. Again, coming into the mind here to really scrutinize this, to take control of your space, to take ownership of this mental activity, or to be more aware of the effect of disturbances and how it afflicts your mental energy, and that you are always in control of your mental space, your mental affinity with your energy field, and yet where external or outer vibrations and vibratory effects are essentially overriding the true potential of your field to be in actual control here. So a very strong clearing through this pillar of light, through the front of the mind, straight through the core of the field. So softening the kashai, this stiffness that was occurring into the base of the heart, the back of the heart. And softening to your own potential. Softening to our potential, as we begin to recognize the powerful energy that lies within each of us, and to witness and combine this, not as if we are necessarily joining together, yet acknowledging in another their power, or at least their potential power, that when we witness that, when we acknowledge that, it actually allows for this fire to be lit within. And it's not an energy of, let's say, fear of competition. It's a completely removed sort of thought here, this mental process, which is really just honoring another, being in awe of their potential. And the greater our capacity to do that, that actually is a reflection of how deeply tapped into our own sense of potential that we are. And I don't mean potential as in you may never reach your potential. I mean potential as in the energy is already there. It needs to be activated through active participation with it. But yet all of the potential lies within you. And loosening through the hips here, through the legs, softening all of these interconnections through the human being, softening to the pain that is felt within, just becoming aware and acknowledging it. And where this pain, has in some ways alleviated our own awareness of what is blocking our energy field from connecting fully into the home space through the left side of the field, which is essentially a cellular abduction. Okay, cleansing and clearing through the core, through the back of the spine. Releasing these afflictions. Just allowing the light to penetrate the core of the field, your home base. Clearing through the diamonds. This point of convergence at the throat, actually. For some reason, it seemed like it should appear right through the crown, but it's actually through the throat, so that the head then radiates this power and this light, so that it radiates through the crown. So the space of activation is within the throat. The space of recognition is through the womb, within the root. The space of appearance through the mind. And allowing this transformation within the field. The activation of your diamond light. As we have called this forth, as it is so.